It's not too often you see a real deal Z28 pop up for sale, and it's especially rare to see one that's an old school drag car. This thing is pretty much untouched. It looks like it's pulled right out of the barn and listed for sale on eBay. It ends on Sunday evening, and I'm sure this thing's going to bring good money because it's a documented Z28 with some serious period correct pieces on it, as well as some numbers matching pieces too that's original to the car. The seller has a great description that tells all about the history of this thing. In that description we see that the original trim tag is intact. It's got the X77 code, which means this is a legit Z28 car. That means it originally came with the 302 cubic inch small block, an M21 close ratio 4-speed, and in this case a 410 posi. This one was ordered in Le Mans blue with black standard interior, with black stripes, a black vinyl top, and no spoiler. It was built on February 25th, 1969 and sold new at Humphrey Chevrolet in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The earliest ownership history that's explained in the description is Stuart Anderson of Oskaloosa, Iowa. He bought this car in the early 70s and he started drag racing it at Eddyville Dragway. So it didn't take long for the 302 to expire, and he ended up replacing it with an over-the-counter LT1 crate engine. So these LT1s are 350 cubic inches, 350 horsepower, really solid combinations, good compression, good camshaft. But he upgraded it with an Edelbrock TR1X single carb tunnel ram, a Mallory dual point distributor, appliance headers with the 4-bolt flange. He kept the M21 transmission but upgraded to a blowproof bell housing, installed a line lock, and he put 6 14 gears in this 12-bolt rear end. And this thing with some slicks and slapper bars ran 780s in the 8th mile. Stewart parked the car in the early 80s and he ended up leaving this thing outside, which is a wonder that it's as solid as it is, because this car sat for many years outside. People could see it from the road. It became somewhat of a local legend. And it stayed that way until Stewart's estate sale in 2024. This car was parked 45 years ago in as-raced condition. The only pieces that were missing were the carburetor and the fuel pump. The new owners took this car to the McCacken show in Chicago, where it was on display with a bunch of other barn finds, and this thing got a lot of attention. Because of this thing's attention it had already gotten on the internet, this car was a huge hit for people to be able to see it up close and personal, and now this thing is for sale. This car's got so many great pieces, it's got some cool history, but unfortunately it does have some damage. From sitting all those years, there's some rust in the number 7 cylinder according to the description, and it would need to be bored out if you were going to put this engine back together. But otherwise, there's a lot of really great pieces. They actually took the 614 gears out of the back and put original 410 gears back in it. And then they also found a 1970 dated warranty replacement block to put the 302 back together, and that comes with the car. Through all of this, they did not get the car running because the number 7 cylinder was in such bad shape, but everything is there. This thing is complete. You can see in the pictures that it's a pretty solid car, even though it does look a little bit ratty on the outside. The floors are good. There's a lot of good pieces here. It's definitely a buildable car. And a lot of people would want to put this back to an original Z28 with the 302, 4-speed, 410 gear combination. But I also know a lot of people would want to put it back as a drag car. This thing would be cool either way. If it was bone stock or if it was a drag car, I think it would definitely be a high dollar car once it's complete. But I honestly love it just like it is. I love the stance, the Ratty M&H slicks on the back with the Jackman wheels. It's got little 14-inch slots on the front. The stance is just cool. It's got some good period correct but not original pieces like the Lakewood steel bell housing, 168 tooth flywheel, 11-inch clutch. That goes with the numbers matching M21 4-speed, which has its original tag. And then you've got the original 12-bolt out back. It's got a BV code 410 posi. This is a great combination. And just in case you want to get rowdy, the 614 gears are included in the sale of this car. It has the original Hearst shifter with a January 1969 date. It's got the original alternator with deep groove pulley. It's got all original interior. Even though it's a little rough, it's all there. It's still got the correct gauges in the console. It's got the 8,000 RPM tack. It's got every piece you would want for an old Z28 Survivor, and it has a vintage bolt-in 4-point roll bar. You know, there's some pieces on here that are a little rough around the edges, but overall, if you're looking for a car with history, If you're looking for a significant car with history, this is a good one. A 69 Z28 that's been a drag car for decades. This car sat outside for decades. This thing is a local legend, and now it's up for grabs on eBay. This auction ends on Sunday night. There's no telling what this thing will bring, because you just never know with a car with this type of significance. Somebody might fall in love with it. There may be a bidding war. You just never know with a car of this caliber. But I just love seeing pictures like this, and the amount of documentation and the amount of research that they did to prove that this car was the real deal. So I enjoyed looking at it. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Thank you for watching.